Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Amy Gray and I'm part of the marketing team here at InfoAsset. Today we're taking 30 minutes to look at how everything starts with an asset for water infrastructure. Your expert today is Idris Najou. Idris graduated with an honours physics degree in the mid-1990s and has spent his career of 25 years in the water industry. He began his career at Bywater, followed by Adkins, and then joined InfoAsset in a technical service role and is now a pre-sales system engineer for asset management. So everything starts with an asset for water infrastructure. Let's find out more. Idris, over to you.
Thank you for joining us today for yet another one of InfoAsset's webinars on software and technological solutions for the water industry. I'm your host for today, Idris Najou, the Asset Management Solutions Engineer. This being my first webinar of 2022, I wanted to step back and take a very high-level look at what our asset management solution provides to utilities and those organizations who support them, the consultant engineering firms who might carry out rehabilitation plans and long-term capital improvement planning studies, as well as those who collect survey data and carry out maintenance, the contractors. If all of this is carried out in-house by the one utility, then the solution fits nicely within that organization. What is asset management? Well, in the context for a water utility, it is its assets that give it value, right? The assets being the vast, unseen, buried, underground, wet, linear infrastructure that either takes water from the source, let's say a reservoir, and to the customer. Or it is what takes used water away from the customer to be treated at a treatment plant before it's being returned clean into the environment. A utility will also usually be responsible for the stormwater system that manages and shepherds rainfall that falls on a catchment, town or city safely away into either treatment or into a watercourse. What does a utility need to think about when it comes to asset management? At a most basic level, it needs to understand what it is exactly that it owns. Not as easy as it might sound. Remember that most of this infrastructure is unseen, so they need to answer the question as to where these assets are physically located. Beyond that, what are the characteristics of these assets? Once you've nailed this down, then what condition are they in? How much more use can I get out of them? So what is their remaining useful life and remaining economic value? Next is, what do I need to do to maintain a level of customer service? How much use is made of the infrastructure by the customers? What is the burden from the regulatory body? What service is being delivered? And again, what is against what is expected? Understanding where your most critical assets lie is essential, as is understanding how they do and how they might fail. What is the likelihood of failure? What is the consequence of failure? What sort of risk model is best? Now, on to from this, what are the operational and management as well as capital investment plan options? And onto what is the long-term strategy horizons to plan for, the 5-year, the 10-year, and so on. As well as this broad overview of asset management planning, the efficient operation and management of network system assets is critical to minimizing performance failures and potential effects. Efficient operation and maintenance of a network system requires several essential elements, regardless of a utility's local performance requirements. documenting programs, practices and protocols, helps produce successful and an efficient performance of network systems. A list of essential attributes for the efficient management of a network include the implementation and maintenance of a system inventory and information management system, to implement and maintain a records management system, to adopt and implement a safety and training program, to develop and implement emergency response and reporting procedures, to perform timely and adequate system operation and maintenance, develop and implement source control measures, conduct system structural condition assessment and evaluation, to conduct system hydraulic capacity assessment, evaluation and assurance, to adopt and use standard design, construction and inspection attributes, to develop and implement a procedure to identify and enact program monitoring, measurement and modifications. InfoAsset's solution to all of these aspects of asset management that I've touched on is branded as InfoAsset. InfoAsset is made up of a number of complementary components. We have InfoAsset Manager, which is the full-blown enterprise asset management, InfoAsset Mobile, which is the field data collection, work order tracking and incident capture. There is then InfoAsset Planner, which is the risk analysis and rehab planning. There is InfoAsset Online, which is a real-time web viewer to democratize data. Going beyond this, InfoAsset Manager also forms the basis for model building in InfoWorks WS Pro for water distribution modeling and IW Live Pro, which is the operational room live system. There is also InfoWorks ICM, which is the storm, sewer and flood modeling, and ICM Live, the operational room live system. So I'm going to come back now to the slide I had up earlier. What does a utility need to think about when it comes to asset management? So at the most basic level, we need to understand and answer the question as to where these assets are physically located. So now onto my next slide. From our InfoAsset solution and the components, this is answered by InfoAsset Manager and Mobile. InfoAsset Manager being the central asset registry, which can contain all of the inspections that are carried out, whilst Mobile is the component that actually carries out the surveys at the coalface in the field and pushes that back into InfoAsset Manager to keep your asset registry most up to date. Let's go back again. So then, what is required to maintain the assets to be able to provide a service to my customers? Okay, so this is taken care of once again by InfoAsset Mobile, which supplies the survey data which can be used for condition assessment of the assets. The actual condition of the assets, the latest state that they're in, and all their physical characteristics is held within InfoAsset Manager, the asset registry and all other inspections. Let's flick back once again. So where are my riskiest assets? Now, this is where InfoAsset Planner comes into play. InfoAsset Planner takes the condition assessment and does the likelihood of failure, the consequence of failure, feeds that into a risk, and then we have the total risk, which then feeds a decision tree, which prioritizes the assets for rehabilitation planning. We then have components within InfoAsset Planner for capital investment planning, life cycle cost analysis, deterioration, and remaining useful life. This answers our questions as to where are my riskiest assets, what are the best capital and operational investment strategies, as well as what is the best long-term strategies. So the combination of InfoAsset Manager, InfoAsset Mobile, and InfoAsset Planner allows you to capture that whole cycle of the asset management. Okay, great. So next, I'm going to have a look at each of these components individually and what they're able to offer us. First up, InfoAsset Manager. InfoAsset Manager, the main purpose of InfoAsset Manager is to provide all the necessary data and tools to allow a utility, an organization, to efficiently operate their services. So it's able to answer what you own and where it's located. So this is the asset register, and it's the geospatial mapping, the class libraries, the data standards, the electronic documents, media files, and overall document management that you're going to require to run your assets effectively. The asset register shouldn't just be about what is owned by an organization. Its physical characteristics, of course, come into play and where they are located. But going beyond that, it should provide a comprehensive biography of what has been done to the asset over its lifetime. That is, what surveys have been carried out, what problems have arisen, what remediation was undertaken. Next, we have the incidents that will help you understand how the network is performing and how it's failing. So there are many types of surveys available to the water industry, both for distribution and drainage systems. These include ones for condition assessment, as well as those for mapping and asset capture and discovery. These taken together will give you a picture of how your network is performing. Up next are the inspection and surveys. So what's the condition and the remaining life? So assessing how your system is performing is usually from feedback, either from customer complaints or from staff reporting issues in the system. This is going to give you a really good picture of what areas of the networks are failing, which assets are not performing, the reason of failure, and what their impact is. And then we're going to ask ourselves, what are you going to do to improve the performance? So we are starting to build a more comprehensive picture of our system. The assets are now geospatially mapped. Assessment of condition is made. So we know what assets are not performing ideally. So what should be done to improve this? The data model. InfoAsset Manager, we think, is one of the world's most comprehensive and includes, as I've mentioned, the infrastructure, the inspections and surveys, the incidents, that these are the problems that have arisen, the interventions that you're going to carry out to be able to record these, and customers. And that's for water distribution, wastewater collection, including stormwater and rivers. And we're also able to extend beyond water to include user-defined assets such as public works. These might include road furniture, street lights, public highways, and so on. InfoAsset Manager is also able to integrate with other systems through its application procedure interface, and we can push and pull data into other systems, which include geographical information systems, hydraulic models, CMMS or computerized maintenance management systems. So it's asset-centric, and it becomes the single source of truth for infrastructure, inspection, incidents, interventions, and if you so wish to keep your client information within that system, that is also possible. So we think of InfoAsset Manager as an info-centric source and will contain all aspects of an asset's life. The asset biography, any event that has happened during an asset's lifetime, such as the inspections, surveys, incidents and interventions, are at the user's fingertips and available to the wider organization. The asset health, all data and information pertaining to an asset's health history is managed and maintained against the asset. Essentially, you get an asset scorecard. The condition, health, performance, whole life cost can be described and assessed easily for a single asset, types of asset, or a user-defined cohort sets of assets. InfoAsset Manager allows utilities to defend and justify that they are doing the right thing to the right asset for the right reason at the right time at minimal cost and minimal risk, while at the same time achieving an agreed level of service to all stakeholders. InfoAsset Manager attempts to address these aspects of asset management from the ever ongoing cyclical process of what it means to continuously survey, assess and update an ever aging asset portfolio. Next, let's look at InfoAsset Mobile. InfoAsset Mobile allows you to keep records of maintenance activities, and this is essential to track the performance, optimize maintenance, and identify areas requiring frequent attention. Maintenance management systems enable utilities to track and document system maintenance and performance. Many utilities use maintenance vehicles equipped with onboard computer systems that provide online access to maps, inventory, maintenance history, and work orders. Staff are provided quick access to field information and can close work orders as work is completed. So the field component to Innovy's enterprise asset management solution in InfoAsset Manager. This allows the capture of survey information, the tracking of maintenance and repairs, and the recording of problem incident and customer complaints data. InfoAsset Mobile allows you to track the work orders and issue these to staff. InfoAsset Mobile provides a utility, the engineering consultants and contractors, with an off-the-shelf solution for collecting field data and creating and completing work orders, and then transferring these seamlessly to the office environment. InfoAsset Mobile has been designed to work alongside InfoAsset Manager, enabling office to field synchronicity in carrying out work orders of all types. It's able to work on or offline, and as such, it can be used in a connected or disconnected mode, providing communication capabilities for uploading and downloading between field and the office. The disconnected mode means that after downloading the work scheduled in the office using InfoAsset Manager, crews do not have to return to the office and can work locally on their field devices until it is convenient to synchronize their work back to the office. Inspections and surveys. So, both planned, scheduled, and unplanned reactive work orders can be raised and completed in the field. These work orders are then uploaded to synchronize with the InfoAsset Manager database, which will result in the update to existing work orders that originated in InfoAsset Manager, or the creation of new work orders that were created in the field. InfoAsset Mobile's operational work, reactive work and network problems to be recorded and tracked at the coalface. So all the data in InfoAsset Manager is available to the field crews via forms or maps. The asset and work locations updated from InfoAsset Manager to InfoAsset Mobile. User controlled or automated synchronized of asset, work, map and data between the office and the field. We have all the choice lists. Maps are all updated automatically. Completed field work is used to update InfoAsset Manager and provides a one-to-one association between data viewed in the field and data viewed in the office. So we reduce and eliminate the manual input, minimizing human error. And of course, this is a paperless system. InfoAsset Mobile is one of the fundamental tools for the operational staff and network system managers. And now onto InfoAsset Planner. InfoAsset Planner is a tool and its main purpose is to help unify data and allow decision makers, engineers and board members access into how capital improvement planning and operations and maintenance decisions are being made in a clear, transparent way. InfoAsset Planner, a predictive maintenance tool. So we know that siloed data is subjective and messy data. By bringing it all together in one place, InfoAsset Planner can improve confidence in capital improvement planning and operations and maintenance decisions to produce better results and workflows. Many organizations employ work management or asset management tracking solutions which are great at the day-to-day asset management grind. But there's more that can be done with this data other than simple data collection. InfoAsset Planner helps take this reconciled data further to help your asset management plan cover the full asset lifecycle. InfoAsset Planner helps make risk assessments simpler for multiple different purposes, including master planning, capital improvement, program planning, regulation requirements. So by transparently balancing level of service, minimizing costs through consequence of failure and likelihood of failure variables, InfoAsset Planner can place all assets on an even playing field to more easily find areas of concern within our water network. With InfoAsset Planner, we can define a risk factor for each asset in the system. Risk factor as a combination of consequence of failure and likelihood of failure, bringing us to meaningful rehab decisions. So InfoAsset Planner's transparent decision-making tools take the stress out of capital improvement program and standard rehab decision-making process. This saves utilities time, money, enhances budgetary estimating processes and balances workloads. The audit trail in the decision tree tool makes the logic easy to follow and to get faster buy-in from all stakeholders. So InfoAsset Planner simply takes data, running it through decision logic, risk scoring parameters, deterioration curves, life cycle cost assessments and so on, that the users themselves created. And so InfoAsset Planner, the utilities and their consultants who know their systems best, and through the use of InfoAsset Planner, they are 100% in control of their data and how they're evaluating risk and rehabilitation. And so this brings me to the end of my presentation for my first webinar of the year. If you're interested in any of these solutions, any of these ideas around asset management, do not hesitate to contact us. Look us up through the website. And I thank you for listening. And until next time, take care.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Idris. I hope you found this webinar interesting. If you asked any questions, we will get back to you with an answer in the coming days. I will be updating you with a recording of this webinar in the next week. Please also remember to take a minute to complete the short survey which will follow this webinar. Your feedback is important to us, and in return you will receive an attendance certificate which can be used for CPD. These certificates will be sent out from GoToWebinar in 5 days' time. And finally, a big thank you for joining us today, and I hope you have a great day.